I know it's crazy, but I'm just happy to be here. For real, for real. It's been a rough morning. It's been a rough morning. But that's neither here nor there. I signed up to be here, and so I am here, and y'all know I'm normally here, so I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad y'all here too. But yeah, woke up late, feeling all stuff. All right, let's get it. Urban Therapy with Sun, baby. Uncharacteristic blessings. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. 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 Now the crazy part is, when I went to bed last night, I felt all right. I don't know if it's the weather or whatever. I'ma fight through it though. Let's go. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. We do this every single Saturday from 1:30 to around 3:30-ish. And the reason that we say 3:30-ish is because sometimes it gets so heated that we just have to do a little OT on a Saturday. And it is Saturday. This is the show where adults come out and play with other adults. We laugh, we cry, we argue, fuss, and fight. We go back and forth with each other, bust it up all crazy. We take an introspective look into our own personality to see the way that the universe projects us into this thing called the world and try to figure out this thing called life. I'm your host, Sun 752, a.k.a. Omar. What? And if you can't say Omar with the, well, then you just say Omar with the R. The reason I hesitated just now is because I'm like, wait a minute, is this the Daily Go Getism show or is this the Urban Therapy with Sun show? I was totally, I gotta get it together. I gotta get it together. I gotta get it together, but we gonna be all right. We gonna get it together. So what we talking about today is handling uncharacteristic blessings. Handling uncharacteristic blessings. What do you know about uncharacteristic blessings? Those are the gifts that you receive from the universe, from God, from the angels, from the ancestors, from wherever they may come. We're talking about good fortune. We're talking about life-changing circumstances that make you change the way that you have to think, the way that you have to do things, the way that you have an outlook on life. Uncharacteristic blessings. And the reason that I call them uncharacteristic blessings is because these are not the same kind. It's not the same kind of luck that you're used to receiving. These aren't the same types of things that you have been praying for, asking for, expecting. You know, like if you've had trouble paying your bills, if you've had trouble, you know, with finances or something like that, then you know whenever you hit the lottery or maybe get a tax return or something like that, you're used to being able to handle your adversity in a certain type of way. You know, maybe when you owe tickets on your car or whatever, moving violations, parking tickets or whatever, and you don't get booted. You are able to pay the bill on time before you got booted or towed or whatever. So you're used to those types of blessings. Well, what happens? What happens when you receive the type of blessings that will stop you from getting in those types of positions in the first place? What happens when you receive the type of information and the type of energy from the universe that makes you start to do things in a better way? That makes you start to discipline yourself better. That makes you start to act in such a way, move in such a way that it starts to improve not only your personal situation, but the situation of people around you that come in contact with you. What happens when you're able to strengthen the relationships that you have been weak at before, or where you could expect the same things day in, day out, time and time again? What happens then? So that's what we're talking about today on the Urban Therapy with Sun show. So let's get it popping, y'all. Let's get it popping. Let's get it popping, y'all. Ain't no stop. I said, let's get it popping, y'all. Let's get it popping. Do me one favor. Hit that like button, y'all. Just hit the like. Give me the thumbs up. Give me the thumbs up. I'm going to move my hardware out of the way so we can have this conversation right now, brothers. Right now, sisters. Damn, I should have did something before we got started. I'm gonna do it now. Let me go ahead and drop this little. See, it's overcast over here in Philly. It's overcast over here. So the way my allergies are set up in my old age is when it rains or when it's cloudy outside, I don't feel good. It starts messing with my sinuses. My breathing gets labored and all that old crazy shit. It wasn't like that before. It wasn't like that before. Before, I just didn't like the rain because it stopped me from being able to go outside and enjoy myself. Damn, I gotta get some water. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm still working. I'm trying to get it together. I promise. The end result of all of this is going to work out just special. That I can guarantee. This is a good topic today. We're going to work it out. Everything is going to turn out lovely. Oh, shit. Oh. I'm telling y'all. I promise. Yo, got something good in the mail today. Got this big ass bag of black seed. You see this thing? This is a whole 5-pound bag. 5-pound bag of black seed. Y'all see the seeds in that shit? Now, I don't know if y'all know anything about black seed. Maybe some of y'all mess around with the black seed oil. I actually like the seeds themselves. You know, we're going to go straight to the source. Baby. Yeah, and that wasn't supposed to come until days later, but it came this morning. Yeah. I'm in the bed oversleeping and all of that. And the next thing you know, I hear boom, 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 boom on the door, like the cops or something. But it had that Amazon type of knock. It had that Amazon type of knock, but it wasn't Amazon. I didn't order from Amazon. But it's all good. I guess we are okay now. I feel okay. I feel all right. What up, grown woman? Don't try me. What's good? Good to see me some you always. Always good to see me some you. What up, grown woman? Don't try me. And also Stacy White holding down for the D all day, every day. What up? And Dakota Leach says freestyle, man. Let's hear it. Damn, I couldn't see that when I was, I would have tried. But shoot, I the way things are going today, I got to get it together. This is way later than I wanted to start. I thought I would be able to make it here by quarter to 2. I knew I wasn't gonna make it by 1:30. That was out of the question. For what was going on. Cheryl Halsey, how you feeling? Cheryl Halsey, what's good? Always good to see me some you. Always good to see me some you. All right. So let's see. Stacy says saving money. Would that be an uncharacteristic blessing for you? Well, the thing is, when I think about an uncharacteristic blessing, and I'm gonna tell y'all how I've been feeling lately. You know, tomorrow is Father's Day, and Father's Day doesn't really have a big impact on me. You know what I mean? I lost my dad 4 years ago, in 2021, and y'all know how I felt about my dad. Anytime I talk about my dad, you know what I mean? You know, that was my man. He's now my angel, my ancestor, watching over me. But lately, I think he has been blessing me with some uncharacteristic blessings. I think he has been giving me some uncharacteristic blessings. And the reason I say it's uncharacteristic is because, and I could be wrong about this. I'm actually interested to know how y'all feel about this. I'm thinking that the blessings that he would give me would be the same blessings that he would have lived his life by. You understand what I mean? Maybe he would bless me in the ways that he would choose to be blessed himself. But the thing is, you never know what a person is yearning for, wanting in their life, praying for, whatever. Some things are very, very personal. Even if a person expresses what they want to you, that doesn't mean that they have expressed to you everything that they want, and especially in the way that they may have wanted it. So when I say that he has been, in my mind, giving me some uncharacteristic blessings is that, you know, the way my dad lived his life is what I would consider devoid of peace. He always bit off more than he could chew. He was excessive. He was excessive in things. Now, things worked out for him well, but he always took on more than he could manage. He always took on more than he could manage. And I feel like I've been receiving the uncharacteristic blessing of dropping off some things that I may not have been able to handle. You know what I mean? Trimming the fat. Making things easier to be able to keep my eye on them, to monitor them, to give them the individual attention that they may require. And that's uncharacteristic because I'm a little used to having a little bit more than I'm supposed to have, or that might be manageable in a situation. So that's an uncharacteristic blessing. And I wouldn't have expected that type of blessing to come from him. Now, you could easily say that, well, how do you figure that it's coming from him? Shouldn't that be coming from God? And don't God know what you need? Well, God, the ancestors, the spirits, the universe, whatever you believe in. Whatever you believe in. Personally, I struggle with a central figure based on man's descriptions. I absolutely 100% believe in God. It's the image of God that seems a little shaky to me. Now, that could just be me, but it just seems, I struggle with that. So I might need more information. I might need a little bit more nudging in that area. I just, you know, I have some more spiritual work to be done. But I say that's an uncharacteristic blessing because sometimes when you're not used to peace in your life, when you're not used to tranquility in your life, when you're not used to things just, you know what, how about just feeling better? Now, I'm feeling a little uneasy today, a little, achoo, a little. Like, I don't feel like it's a full-fledged thing, but I definitely got to keep my little thumb on it. Like, hold on, what we doing? I'm one of these nasty-ass coworkers. These nasty-ass coworkers ain't, you know what I mean? Give me some of their nasty-ass homework. And when I say homework, I mean, you know, because they got kids and stuff like that. You know, kids be carrying around germs. You know, kids be carrying around germs. And I do work in a hospital. So I may not even be able to blame the coworkers. But anyway, when you talk about a good feeling, when was the last time you just felt good about life? You know, real shit. When was the last time you felt good about the way that you feel? Maybe nothing has happened for you that you can really latch on to. Maybe you haven't got a new job or made any extra money or whatever, but maybe you feel like you're on the pathway to making that happen. Maybe you feel like something like the pieces are being put in place so you can have a little bit more. Maybe you just feel good today. When was the last time when you woke up out of bed or whatever and you said, yo, today is going to be all right. It's going to be all right in more ways than one. Maybe you felt like it was going to be all right because you was going to make it all right. Or maybe you felt like it was going to be all right because it started out right. And you didn't feel like anything was going to get in the way of that. Well, when was the last time you just felt good about life in general? When was the last time you felt good about life in general? And that'll let you know what I'm talking about when we talk about uncharacteristic blessings. Do you know the band Maneskin? No, never heard of them. Are they a rock band? What kind of band are they? Whatever your name is, I can't read the language of what your name is. All I can see is the "Are you coming?" part. But thanks for coming to the show. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. T. Carey Wright, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. So yeah. You know, when was the last time you just felt, had a good feeling? For a lot of people, a good feeling, just feeling good about life, feeling positive, having a positive outlook on your future. That might be uncharacteristic for a lot of people. And sometimes that may come from a source, an unlikely source. Maybe when we're used to knowing exactly where our blessings are coming from, or where our fortune is going to come from, or where our luck is going to come from. Like, you know how it is when you have trouble paying your bills, or when you are right up against it, living from check to check. So you already know what kind of blessings that you are looking for, or that you can expect. Like, all right, I was able to pay all my bills without any late notices or any late fees this month, but I'm struggling. So maybe you expect, to win the lottery, a little something, not the big lottery. We ain't talking about no Powerball, Mega Millions or nothing like that. But maybe you just win a little pick 3 in the box. You know what I mean? It helps out. You might have won a couple of hundred, gambled on a horse, football game, basketball game, the Pacers against the Thunder. You know what I mean? So you kind of know what to expect and what to do with the blessings that you receive. So what happens when you get unexpected blessings? Unexpected blessings, the things that you have wrote off before, the things that you say, well, I don't think it's in the cards for me. I don't think it's in the cards for me. How many of y'all been fired from a job before? Some of y'all been fired from a job that you didn't even want, but you don't even want to get fired. I know how it be. Getting fired from a job that you didn't like, but a check is a check. And you may have relied on that check every week, every other week, however it is that you get paid. You know how it is. You need your money. So you get fired from a job, and maybe you had a hustle on the side. You had a hustle on the side that people have been telling you for years. Like, yo, man, you don't even really need to work at your job. You could do this for a living. You so good at this. All you need is a little bit more structure. Like, let's say you are a really, really good cook and you've been doing some catering on the side. You've been doing some catering on the side, but you haven't been calling it catering. You've just been helping out here and there. You've been baking some cakes. You've been hooking up some side dishes. Some deviled eggs. You've been a champion. You've been the person that people been looking for that potato salad, that macaroni salad, whatever. You got the skills to pay the bills, but you've been counting on this job that you've been having because you need the health insurance, because you need the 401k. So your primary source of income has been that job, but it's also been your primary source of stress, of worry, of depression. It ain't easy when you start seeing jobs downsizing, they firing and letting people go, and forcing people into retirement around you, and you wondering, well, when is one of these darts, arrows, or bullets going to hit me? And then it finally does. It finally does. Now, how can that be an unexpected blessing? It can be an unexpected blessing because everybody has been telling you that you need to just go ahead and live off of this thing you've been doing. You was already making good money with it. Actually, you may not have been making the kind of money that you really wanted to make because you've just been treating it as a side hustle, helping people out. But people have been dialing up your number every time they have an event. Yo, can you make this for me? How much would you charge me for this? That. The third. So now here you are without a job, and you think about looking for another job. But in the interim, while you are filling out applications online and waiting for interviews and calls and stuff like that, maybe you have started to actually do this thing that you've been doing on the side full time. And maybe now it's working. And maybe now people are really counting on you. And now maybe people are setting up things for you. So people are starting to manage you or book you. Like instead of having a manager, you've been having a booking agent. Well, yeah, in during the summertime, this event and that event, comes up, and maybe I can plug you in with this. I'm gonna make a few calls for you. I know you need it right now. You just lost your job. I'm real sorry about that. Now, that losing that job that you've been relying on, that you've been leaning on, that you've been depending on, maybe getting back into that primary source of income is starting to be put more on the back burner. So maybe getting fired from your job was your blessing in disguise, or your unexpected or uncharacteristic blessing. Your uncharacteristic blessing. That's the name of the show. And there's a reason that I call it the uncharacteristic blessing, because it's uncharacteristic in that it's not what you usually expect. It's not what you usually ask for. It's not pushing you in the direction that you usually want to go. It's doing a different thing. It's maneuvering you in a different way. It's twisting you and turning you and directing you, facing you in a way that you didn't think of. And we're talking about physically, financially, and most importantly, psychologically. When you have to start thinking differently than you thought before, that's uncharacteristic. Because as human beings, we creatures of habit, yo. We look for the way that we know how to do things. You know how some of us act when we know what we know. Can't nobody even talk to some of us. Man, don't try to tell me about welding. I've been welding for 30 years. Don't try to tell me about electricity. I've been wiring for 20 years. Don't try to tell me about this, that, and the third. I went to school for it. I got certificates. I got licenses. I'm respected in the field. Don't try to tell. That's how we get. But when we get something, when we have to step outside of our comfort zone, when we have to do things differently than we did before, oh, that's uncharacteristic. And now you got to start thinking in a different kind of way, because you got to start thinking in a different kind of way in order to do things in a certain kind of way. Like when you've been the boss all of your life and now you done got a job. So you got to listen and take direction from somebody else. And that might not be a bad thing, because you don't always have the best ideas. You might have good ideas, but they're not always the best. But we can get arrogant. We can get arrogant when we are successful at certain things. Okay, what's that? Bandozans? Or was that Bandoxans? Sorry, man, I didn't mean to butcher your name. Let me see. I just wanted to know if he knows the band because it's my favorite. Okay, I know. And Bandozan says, I think Lena meant, have you ever been in a band or played drums? Oh, well, no, I've never been in a band. And the drums that I played, like in the beginning of this show and sometimes during the show, I just started doing that in the past year, 2. Oh, you said they won Eurovision in 2021. What's the name of this band? Let me see. Let me Google them. Manskin, you said? Mainskin? Oh, it's a rock band. A funny looking one. Okay, Mainskin is an Italian rock band formed in Rome in 2016. The band is composed of lead vocalist Damiano David, bassist Victoria De Angelis, guitarist Thomas Raggi, and drummer Ethan Torchio. All right. Tell you what, I'm check out some of the let me oh no. You know what I mean? I gotta stop that. I gotta stop that with the quickness because I just wanted to get it on my YouTube so I know to check it out later. I'll check it out later. I'll definitely check it out. My brother from another mother, Norris Hill, sit back, relax, do your thing, Max, and chill. I can't play no audio, you know, especially any copywritten material on the show. They, you know, it's like YouTube be looking for any reason to throw a lightning bolt in my shit. So I don't want to give them no extra reasons. No extra reasons. Okay, I got you. I got you. Damn, Bando, you say you've been fired a lot? Okay. So when you've been fired, what did you do? What did you do? Like, what was your, did you have a plan B? Did a plan B surface out of nowhere and, you know, sort of give you what you weren't even asking for or going for? It happens. It happens. What's your favorite animal? Probably a lion. But I like elephants. I like yeah, the cats. Cats and the big cats are my favorite, but I love dogs too. But I don't like other forms of dogs, like coyotes. Well, wolf is okay. But like foxes and maybe a fox ain't a dog, but it looked doggy to me. And like a hyena, I don't like them. Man, they look doggish to me. They look canine-ish to me. You know? All right. So and I also like whales, but not necessarily sharks. But I ain't mad at sharks. They're not my favorite, but I do like whales. So all cats, whales, elephants, cows. I love cows, but not necessarily bulls. Like I like the female cows. Moo, moo, moo. Bulls are okay. Horses. I like horses a lot. There's certain birds I like. Like I like the strength of the eagle, the hawk, the falcon, an owl. Owls are cool. Owls. Owls. There's a lot of dope ass birds. Shit, I like a raven. No, not the raven. Well, raven is cool, but the fucking crow is off the chain. Motherfucker smart as shit. You ever see a crow? A crow be, you know, they putting in work. Stacey White says, my little cousin sent me a postcard with a picture, Uber Eats card, a Red Lobster card, and a Red Lobster card. She sent you a postcard with her picture of Uber Eats and a Red Lobster. You got to clean that up a little bit. Are you saying that she sent you those gift cards? Is that what you're saying? Because I can't really tell. All right, so Ben Ozan says, I always look for the next smoke. Okay. Stacey White says, when you sick and tired of being sick and tired, different like saving money. Okay. My brother from another mother, Norris Hill. Sit back, relax, do your thing, max and chill. That's what's up, my dude. My brother, always good to see you. All right, cool. Okay, so I think y'all understand a little. It looks like, for the most part, y'all understand where I'm going with this thing. Uncharacteristic blessings. Those are blessings, fortune, luck, however you want to term it. That's not what you normally ask for or expect. Think about the things that you have given up on. And I know nobody really likes to admit that they've given up on things, but maybe, you know how when we was younger, and probably all of us said that we was going to be rich when we grew up, and then we grew up and we didn't get rich. You know how that be. Well, maybe an uncharacteristic. No, don't let me get to that. I need the uncharacteristic blessings of focus. So let me get focused. So let me finish that thought. What I was trying to say was, God damn. Yeah, I gotta get this shit together. Things that you have given up on. So you may have accepted in your life, all right, I ain't gonna be rich, but I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be able to pay my bills. I'm gonna be able to have the things that I want. I'm gonna be able to shop when I feel like shopping, eat out when I feel like eating out, vacation when I feel like vacationing. So you may have given up on your dream or your belief that you were going to be wealthy one day. Well, an uncharacteristic blessing may be the energy to go ahead and pursue your dream of being rich, or having the energy, the drive, the ideas, the business acumen, the structure, the discipline to finally start putting your ducks in a row. You know, you can't save your way rich. You can have a nice little nest egg, but you can't save your way rich. So when people be talking about the more you spend, the more you save, it's the most ridiculous thing that they could say, but I understand why they say it. So you can't save your way rich, but what you can do is plan your way rich. What you can do is energize your way rich. What you can do is work your way rich. What you can do is structure your way rich. What you can do is discipline your way rich. What you can do is visualize your way rich. Plan your work and work your plan. So an uncharacteristic blessing may be how you finally got your shit together and stopped freestyling and actually started structuring yourself to understand that, okay, I'm going to do this to get that. And then once I get that, I'm going to get this. And when I get this, then I'm going to get that. Keep moving from one thing to another. And eventually you got it going on. And you may actually see like, oh, well, this is why I haven't been able to have no money or keep no money all of this time. Because I just been making enough to make it through each day or each week or each month, instead of taking my money to make more money, saving that money, investing more money into what I'm doing, my business or myself. Wash, rinsing, repeating. So an unexpected blessing for you could be, oh, I finally figured this shit out. It's been right in front of me all this time. People even been telling me all of this time, but I ain't been listening.
because I ain't want to hear what they had to say. I thought I thought I knew what I was capable of, and I thought that the cards were in somebody else's hands to play for me instead of taking charge and control of my situation. So you may have given up on being rich one day, and maybe now you have the uncharacteristic blessings of finally being able to make it happen. Fuck, man, what the come on. Come on, man. Ugh. Why is it dripping on that side? Now, when this happened before, I had to take this off and make sure that the rubber was meeting the road in the right way. So let me see if I could. Okay, we got it now. We got it now. We got it now. We good. So do y'all understand what I'm trying to say? Or what I'm saying? That might be an uncharacteristic blessings for you. What up, Carla? What's good? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. You said good evening. I don't know. I'm not sure where you are, but where we are, Eastern Standard Time, it's only 2:51 in the afternoon. But good evening to you. And James Flooring, my dude, what up? Says, what up, bro? How you doing today, man? I'm feeling like a real man should. I hope you feel like a real man should also. And that goes for all of y'all real men out there and all of y'all real women. And if I don't get a chance to say it later on or tomorrow, happy Father's Day to you and all of the fathers out there. All y'all fathers out there. Oh, Carla, you on the same time that I'm on. You know it's 2:50. Now it's 2:52 in the afternoon. But all right, if that's evening to you, then that's evening to me. I'm taking that on. From now on, 3 o'clock in the afternoon is evening. James says, just on my way home from work, got rained out. I'm a logger. Wow. That's a dope job. A logger. You know what I mean? A logger. That's not a job that you hear people say every day. I'm a logger. Yeah, we got a little rain in Philly today. It's overcast, messing with my allergies. You know what I mean? But we gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. Thank you for the happy Father's Day. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Stacy. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So, handling uncharacteristic blessings. Now, the reason that I said handling uncharacteristic blessings is because, you know, when you have uncharacteristic blessings, you may not even recognize them. Have you ever been blessed with something that you didn't recognize as being a blessing? Just like I said, getting fired from a job, maybe breaking up with somebody. You know, when you can be with somebody for years and you didn't really, you know, it's not that you didn't love them no more, but the relationship had run its course a long time ago and you just been coasting, but you didn't want to leave the relationship because maybe you were in that relationship because you had sympathy for the person. The person could have been sick. They have health challenges. So you were hanging in there. The person could have been abusive, but even though they were abusive, you were trying to work with them. The person could have been unattentive or they could be inconsiderate. All right.
You have a call from.
Caller with the last number is 5639. Welcome to the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. Thank you for calling in. What's on your mind this afternoon? What's good?
Good afternoon, son. Good afternoon, family.
Now, I'm not trying to hear that. What happened to you last night?
You took too long talking to you. Listen, I had to take a Benadryl last night. I was struggling for my life to breathe. My allergies were doing something retarded.
I understand.
I was struggling.
Yeah.
So all it took was 3 blinks and a yawn, and I was down.
I understand.
And you were talking to one of those trolls, and I was like, okay, I'm very honest. And that was it.
They was giving me the business last night. They was giving me the business. But I knew something was going on.
I was waiting, but shoot. I don't take meds, the drugs, over-the-counter drugs, none of that kind of stuff. So it just doesn't take much for it to knock me out. And that Benadryl had me in a chokehold. So
I get it. I had to bust your balls a little bit, but it's all good. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling like that today. I'm trying to get it together. It's a struggle, man. It's a struggle.
Yeah, you fighting for life to breathe, just to wake up and breathe for no reason.
Yeah, and you can. It's easy to take breathing for granted until you can't do it. That shit's scary. I don't like it.
Exactly. I woke up this morning sick. Like, what's happening? I can't breathe out of my mouth. My nose, nothing. What's going on?
Yeah. When you can't breathe, nothing else in the world fucking matters. I don't want to hear none of that shit.
Nothing.
You know what I mean? I need air in my lungs now. This shit, you know what I mean? Heart start beating off fast. You think you're going to lose even more air? Like, now you in panic mode. You're on some anxiety type shit.
Listen, at one point I was like, I'm having a heart attack.
Hey.
I'm having a heart attack. Oh no.
You know how many people wind up in the ER right over this shit? That shit is real, man.
Yep.
That shit is real.
Yep.
Do not take your lungs for granted. That's why when people smoke, I be like, man, you got all of that. I ain't smoke. I don't smoke. And you know what I mean? And there are times when I'm struggling like a smoker. And I'm like, this is not fair. This ain't cool. I don't see no smokers struggling to breathe. They don't give a fuck about their lungs.
I know someone who has allergy issues worse than mine. And they smoke. And I'm just like, you are playing Russian roulette with your life on a regular basis.
They got it.
You crack too, because what in the hell are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What? Oh. Well, I wanted to comment on a few things or answer to a few things you said, but before I get started, I just want to make it clear, I have always been one who, and I know that it's cliche to say, but I think it's just more of a fact than a cliche, but a lot of people say it, but I believe there are more people, especially Black people or anyone who is non-Euro, who are Anglo-Saxon, who follows the same path, but I'm more spiritual than I could ever be religious. So I want to say that first, I have always been one to have a strong belief in what some consider to be supernatural, which I think is just natural.
Okay.
And we just don't tap into it. So with that said, you asked the question, when is the last time we felt okay with life? Like we felt like, this is a good day, everything is good.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't felt that since the day I lost my grandmother. That was the first bout of it. And then once we went through the pandemic, I haven't felt that, made it 30 times worse. And now with what we have going on in this world, it is a constant state of panic. So I haven't felt that way since 2012, July the 5th. So there's that.
Okay.
And I hope one day it comes back, but I just feel like it's not going to. So there's that. Uncharacteristic blessings. That. So full disclosure. Earlier this week, there's a backstory. Let me do the backstory first. I just recently picked up a new client a month ago. And when this person reached out to speak to me about my business and what services I offer and how I might be able to assist them. I was like, they can't even pay my current rate. They can't afford to pay my going rate. So I was going to just decline and, say, hey, your budget doesn't match what my needs are, or my requirements are. But something just kept saying, talk to the person. Like the inner voice was like, talk to the person, hear them out, see what they're saying. So I did that. And that inner voice just kept saying, take them on as a client, take them on as a client. Even though my everyday is like, no, she can't afford to pay what I'm charging, and she can't even afford the lowest rate. So no, but that was just my worldly. That's my worldly me. And
hold up, you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, I hate that. I hate these trash phones. What about now?
You good?
Okay. So I was like, something just kept saying, help her. She's in need. Listen to her story. She's in need. Da 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 da. So I took her on as a client, knowing, she can't afford me, but I'm good with it because she's a very sweet person. That's been a month.
Okay.
Earlier this week, the client I've had for 6+ years decided they were going to release everyone on my team. Just because they are going in a different direction with their business, which is fine, because I always felt like, this new direction is going to be the one thing that causes them to crash completely, because it started involving calls from the Attorney General and just all these different agencies. And I'm like, I didn't sign up for this. What the hell are we doing? And they just started to do more nefarious things that have been in question.
No, my name is.
So, huh?
No, go ahead.
I've always felt like I was going to eventually break ties. I was just finding the right moment to. But I didn't have to. They gave it to me. So in that same day, of course, there's that moment when I'm like, oh, this is my biggest client. It pays the bulk of my bills.
Okay.
So, of course, I'm like, what the hell? And I just got a new house repaired the night before. So I'm really like, oh, my God, in panic mode, thinking about finances, but there's still a part of me that was relaxed. Like, you didn't want to get away from them anyway.
Okay.
Speaking of uncharacteristic blessings and things you didn't ask for, that very same day, within 45 minutes of me telling my new client, hey, I need a moment. I'll get back with you for our meeting today because, something has happened. And she asked that I wanted to talk about it, whatever. So I just kind of gave her a briefing of it. And then I was like, but let me call my dad and get myself together. And so within 45 minutes, she calls me back and she's like, listen, someone has asked me about what you are doing for me. And I just told them about you on Monday. And Monday she did ask, do I have room for a new client? Blah, 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 blah. Within 45 minutes of one door closing, a whole new house was built. Because I have 3 new clients, none of which I asked for, none of which I expected. And these are definitely not in areas in which I would ever see myself working in.
Okay.
And for me, that is my sign of my ancestors at work. That is an uncharacteristic blessing times 3. And I do believe it is an association with a world that we have been taught that is negative, which is not. And it is a spiritual thing. This is just how I feel about it.
Okay.
So an example of those 3, well, just real quick, an example of those 3 is because of how I feel about the world we're in and how we live now. I'm working with an immigration attorney And that's not ever a place I would have ever seen myself, nor have I ever asked for. But here I am now. So.
Okay. Now, internally, what made this uncharacteristic? Because I know that you didn't think that you weren't going to ever get any more clients, but what was it about this happening, this incident? What was it about it that caught your attention or made you think differently about whatever? What was it about this particular thing that that changed anything for you or that affected you any differently?
Well, timing is one thing, but I think the one that stands out the most is because this client I got a month ago, she is not someone I would have ever just been like, okay, you know, like I said, she can't afford my lowest rate. But that internal voice was just like, you have to do it, just nagging at me. So I listened, and I think somewhere, some entity knew something was happening or coming on the wind. And the ancestors went to work and spoke to me and said, take this client because you're going to benefit from her in the end. And the result was, within 45 minutes of losing my biggest client that I've had for 6+ years, I now gained 3 new clients. And again, these are in areas I would have never have asked for nor seen myself. So I believe that is the connection. That's what makes this stands out to me. That's what makes this different for me, because of the timing and just listening to that inner voice.
Okay. Okay. All right. So when I'm talking about uncharacteristic blessings, that definitely does qualify. But I'm thinking like when you have an uncharacteristic blessing, I'm thinking that it changes the way that you look at things from now on, and it changes the way that you might do things from now on. You know, like when I was using the example of getting fired from a job and having to rely on your side business, and then your side business becoming your main source of income and becoming the thing that you probably should have taken into consideration for, a long time ago, but it still wouldn't have been your primary source of income. And what you put all of your time, effort, and dedication into, had you not lost your job, your day job. You know what I'm saying? So it's unexpected, and you may not have even looked at it as a blessing when it happened. And that's not to say that you can't recognize something as being a blessing, because like what you were saying before about having given up on something, we put such a negative stigma on giving up on something. We're never supposed to give up. You're supposed to stay strong, stand strong, always hang in there until things turn around or whatever. But there are some things that are better left in the rear view mirror. There's some things that are just best, being in our past. Maybe we'll learn from it, maybe we shouldn't, but maybe some of those things were in the way, like being in a toxic relationship that you never wanted to accept as being toxic, where everybody got problems, everybody got issues in a relationship. This ain't, but at least they love me and I love them. Y'all may not be able to see it because it's not the way that y'all love, but things like that. But yeah, when you have given up on something and then something happens to rejuvenate, regenerate your hope and belief that something can be the way you wanted it to be. Look at how many people, for example, have given up on marriage or just even a regular relationship. You know what I mean? Whenever I hear about a person, and I know people gonna get on me about this shit, I don't give a fuck. I still look at it the way I look at it. When I hear somebody talking, especially women, because it's only women I ever hear say it, when they talk about being celibate, I'm thinking like, the only reason you would be celibate and try to relish in it is because you don't believe that you could be in a healthy relationship where sex is involved. There's no other, I mean, unless you a nun or a priest, other than that, why would you want to do that? You know, now, if sex was was never fulfilling for you anyway, or it didn't bring you what you expected from it or what you wanted from it, I get it. But it's hard for me to accept that you were happy in that role because, you know, it's not really as far as nature is concerned, it's not a natural thing to do. It's a struggle. It's like being on a diet. Being on a diet doesn't mean you're never going to eat food again. It means that you're going to regulate the things that you eat. And it's a real struggle for some people to do. So just like having sex. But giving up on the possibility that you're going to be in a good relationship, a loving relationship, a fulfilling relationship, an emotionally fulfilling relationship. That's not something that's good to give up on, but many people have done it. So hopefully something happens with those people, even if they're the reason that they can't be in a decent relationship, because it ain't always the victims of toxicity that are the sad ones. Sometimes it's the toxic person that knows they can't do better. And they have given up on trying to do better. So they have settled into being toxic. So sometimes they the sad ones. Giving up on something is giving up on something. And sometimes something can happen from God, the universe, the spirits, the ancestors, the angels. Something can happen that makes you realize that what you have written off as an impossibility is now a possibility again. It's on the table again.
Well, in response to you saying how things can happen and change how you look at stuff and change how you live your life and how you do things, one of the reasons because you lost a job, one of the reasons I do what I do now, and I've been in this world since since 2009. I've been living the life I live and working the way I work since 2009 was because I lost a job I didn't really want in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I was just working to pay bills. And then it was like, this doesn't look like you are interested in being here with your coworkers, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I'm not. And it just kind of took people, like, we can't believe she said that. And, how do you feel about being here? I'm like, I hate it here and I don't like you. So, of course, they were like, well, you're free to leave. Thank you. And then this world opened up, and I've been here since 2009. That is one thing that happened that changed my entire outlook on work, life, everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm still here, And even during the pandemic, I never missed a beat. I never lost the chance to provide an income for myself because of this life, this work, the way I work, the way I live. So,
okay.
Just in response to that.
Okay. Okay. So you understand what I'm talking about when I say that, like an uncharacteristic blessing may even come from a person that you wouldn't think that it would come from. Like, I don't know if you heard earlier in the show when I was talking about I feel like lately I've been receiving uncharacteristic blessings from my dad. And it's uncharacteristic because if it's coming from him, it wasn't how he lived his life. My dad was a good man, but he kept a lot of shit going. You know what I mean? Like cutting the pie in too many slices. Not enough people are going to be able to eat. Everybody going to eat, but they're not going to get the helping that they want. So I feel like
isn't it a common prayer for parents? Try to say that 6 times. For parents to want better for their children. Maybe it is his prayers being answered. Not that he wants your life to be chaotic the way maybe his was, but for yours to be more peaceful and to, of course, strive for the things he always, taught you, but just to be more settled and to be more relaxed so you don't have the same stressors he had. So you can live a little longer and not have the same pressures upon you that can affect you health-wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it could just be simply that. It could be the blessings being answered from your dad when he was here in this life. And now his prayers are being answered that, his son is having the peace that he always wanted.
Maybe. It's still uncharacteristic. Like,
yeah, of course.
It's still uncharacteristic because I'm not sure if that's what he wanted. So I can't be really sure if it's coming from him. I would like it to be coming from him.
Uncharacteristic because we're taught that it's uncharacteristic, or is it really just normal and we are taught to believe that it's not?
When my dad was alive, he never tried to talk me out of messing with somebody that was toxic or on some other shit. If it was complete the opposite. So you understand what I'm saying? Like he ain't ever say like, yo, man, don't mess around with her. She's crazy. She ain't got no sense and blah, blah, blah. He'd be like, nah, he would be more like, yeah, that's the one right there. That's it. So I had to be the one. To be like, nah, that ain't it, Chief. That ain't it, Chief. Me and him we were totally different when it came to relationships. He relished in that toxic shit, that nasty shit, that, Bonnie and Clyde type shit. I wasn't fucking with it. I wasn't fucking with that. So I say it's uncharacteristic because it's not relationships that I've had any problems with or whatever. But when I say, all right, sometimes you can have just like a good feeling or just a feeling of optimism. Let's put it that way. A feeling of optimism that things are going to work out. Things are going in the right direction. Maybe you have made the right decisions when you didn't think that it was right or wrong. You just thought it was a decision that you had to make. It was a crapshoot. Like, I hope for the best, but I can't expect that. You understand what I mean? And the uncharacteristic blessing for me are, I can't even really speak on it, but I'm giving an example of how it could be. So, if you have if you've given up on, I don't know, I'm never going to have a job that I'm going to really like getting up and going to every day. Like, it's not in my DNA. We tell ourselves that shit all the time. Like, nah, can't no, as long as there's a job where somebody else is signing the checks besides me, I'm never going to be happy. We tell ourselves those kind of things. And that is a form of giving up on something. Like, you have given up on being able to be content in any situation where you are not in 100% control. Well, you might receive a situation one day where you might be all right with it. You might be okay with it. An example that's personal to me is I'm like, none of these jobs are ever going to really pay me what I want to be paid. Is that true? No, it's not true. It was true until 2022. It was true until 2022, where I had a situation going on where I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. I was like, this is what I want to be paid. And if I think this is good, it could be a whole lot better. But something had to happen out of the blue just by chance to make me see that, because the path that I was on wasn't making that happen. I always say to myself, there's no way I'm going to be able to retire from any of these jobs because I worked under the table for so long that Social Security is never going to be able to pay me the type of money that I'm going to be able to live on. It ain't going to happen for me. Retirement is not an option. I'm gonna have to run my own business, or I'm going to have to work for the rest of my life until my dying day, probably. You know, or until like I don't consider myself to be a real material person, but I like to be able to get the shit that I want. I'm a gadget person, so electronic things, there is no not being able to afford that shit for me. I'm like, nah, I like that shit. You know what I mean? I should be able to get it. So until I'm in a position where none of that stuff matters anymore, yeah, you know, and that's a small thing. I mean, it might be the latest phone, or, you know, a new microphone, a camera, or some shit like that. That shit, you know, that shit, it gets my blood pumping. So but anyway, so I'm thinking.
I have a different perspective on that.
Huh?
I said I have a different perspective on that.
Okay.
Is it possible that you have had these negative thoughts for so long that you've allowed them into your space? You've allowed the universe to direct your path in that way because you've had those negative thoughts. Or maybe there was a moment in there where you didn't have that thought, that you didn't have that negative thought, or maybe some prayers went out for you. And it changed that direction in which the universe was directing your life. Is there a chance that maybe you generated that negativity because you have had accepted that you would never get XYZ, you would never be able to provide yourself with XYZ and retire, yada, yada, yada. But then there were either prayers that went out for you, or there was a moment of that you felt different about it, and it opened up enough of a path for that negativity to release and your world to the 360. Is there a possibility of that? Or would you accept the possibility of that? And I say that as somebody who believes in, you know, we direct the path of how things are going to go. Now, do we have full control? No, of course not. That would be insanity to think. But I do believe how we feel, how we project, plays a part in it. Like if you tell a child for their whole life, you're ugly, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're bad, then that kind of speaks into the kind of life they'll have until someone breaks that. So I think the same goes for us even as adults. If we constantly say, I'm not ever going to, I'm not going to live like I'm not going to have, then that's what we are stuck in. We speak that into our world until we think differently, feel internally differently, you know.
No, I understand what you're saying. And I'm going to say this. All right. I was raised not to work for anybody. I was raised to have my own business, employ other people, pay them, because that's the only way that you can ever make sure that you won't be fired or let go or evaluated or any of that shit. And it's the only way, unless you have like 100 people or more paying you, writing checks to you, I don't see how, unless your ambition, your financial ambition is kind of low, I don't see how you can never get paid what you really want to get paid. Plus, I work in management. So when you work in management, as you know, you get paid a salary. So only place to go from management is upper management. So you keep going from one salary to another salary to another salary to another salary. So regardless of how far up you go, the salary is set by somebody other than you. Even if you just drive Uber or Lyft, or you have a trucking company or a cleaning company or something like that, you get the contracts that suit you. You control how much you want to make. So I'm not discouraged from retiring because I'm just disgruntled with how much I get paid or whatever. I just know how it works. You know what I mean? Based on the field that I'm in and how that works or whatever. There's only a certain amount of money that you're going to make, and that's it. Unless you're the one that owns the company and you're getting the contracts, so you're going to see the type of money that you want to see. And even with that, that's based on whatever your ambition level is. So I'm not discouraged from like I'm not a person that has problems taking direction. I don't have a problem with doing what somebody else wants to do, whatever. As long as I get to do what I want to do on my time, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have any problems. As a matter of fact, I respect that this is your shit and you want it done a certain kind of way. I don't have a problem with that at all. I'm not one of them kind of people. So, but I just know that when you are relying on government assistance, and a lot of people are on government assistance programs that don't realize that they're on it. You think that just because you get paid a pension or retirement or whatever, you think you're not on a government program. Oh yeah? Well, I think we should be all fully aware of how that works right about now, shouldn't we? You know what I mean? Because as soon as they start taking that shit away, you realize like, oh shit, I've been on welfare. Who knew? Yeah, well, they don't call it that, you know, because you worked all your life, but you realize it's a government assisted program, just like a whole lot of other things are. Even your 401k. Even your 401k is totally dependent on the stock market, and all this shit is government regulated, and that means that they can make it what they want to be. And they can give it and they can take it away. So that's all I mean by that. But on the same token, an uncharacteristic blessing to me might be like, wait a minute, actually I'm all right. I'm good. Because like, maybe I don't have to depend on this job in order to be all right in my older age, when I may not be as energetic, spry, and strong as I used to be, and independent as I used to be. Maybe this is giving me a chance to put other things in place, you know, other sources of income, other streams of income and whatever, even if they're not fully in place now. You know, sometimes when you get the thought, almost all of the time when you get the thought, then you can start the action. And you could be doing something for years and swear you have it figured out and not have it figured out. But one day you might get it figured out and be wondering how come all of these years you've been coasting like you had it figured out when you really didn't. But better late than never. Now you got it figured out. At least figured out to the point where now it's a more workable situation than it was before. It's an uncharacteristic blessing. It is what it is. Sometimes, you know, I was wondering, because to get something, you gotta give something sometimes, or to get something, you gotta do something different. You want something different, you gotta do something different. That was what Judge Lynn Toler always said on divorce court. It was one of her quotes that I really, really appreciated. I'm like, damn, I mean, that makes nothing but fucking sense. If you want to get something different, you got to do something different. You can't do the same shit and then expect all of a sudden it to just, go into fruition, except play the lottery. You play the number day after day after day after the day. Yeah, it might come out. But is it going to give you the kind of money that you were looking for?
Oh, because you're getting back the money you put into it. All you're doing, when people who play the lottery on a regular basis, I don't think they stop and think, you're not really winning big money. You're just winning. You're just getting back what you put into it. That's really it. You're just getting back what you put into it.
For some, that might be true.
Anyway.
For some, it might be true. I've known some people who won the lottery on a regular basis. Like it was their job. My mom used to win like that. Every time I turned around, she was like, I hit. But I understand what you're saying too, because it has to be true for some. But if you've put in $250 of let's say you played one number every day. Let's say you played $1 on a pick 3 number, and a whole year went by. It's highly unlikely that a whole year is going to go by and that number never comes up. I mean, it could, but if you spent $365 on a lottery ticket, but if you win, let's say Big 4 or something like that, you get 500. Well, you got back the money that you put in, but you did get more money. Mm-hmm. And so it's it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm just saying that an uncharacteristic blessing may be something that gives you a different outlook or a different path or it opens up different or better options for you that you didn't think were possible because things had been the way that they were for so long.
I think these new clients for me are uncharacteristic blessings because this is a new outlook on, it's just a new world for me. Like I said, the one, she is a brand new, complete and total world for me. I didn't ask for it. Never would have considered it. Don't even know if I'm prepared for it, to be honest. But new, like, I have to find out about a whole new culture this weekend. I barely know a little bit about, and I only know a little because of somebody I dated. I don't know enough about it.
So. Yeah. So, yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. I mean, you know what you have been through more than anybody else. But that's why you'll recognize when something is an uncharacteristic blessing versus something else. You understand what I mean? It's a funny thing, Kim, because some people. Let me ask you this before I get into this. Do you think, because you spoke about maybe somebody prayed for you, blah, 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 blah. Do you think that somebody can pray for the things that you want? Or do they pray for the things that they want for you?
I think they pray for the things they want for you. The things they would want for you to make your life easier. Like grandparents, I think my grandmother always prayed for her grandchildren to have better than what she had and what our parents had. Mm-hmm. So I do believe people pray for you, what they want for you, but also like my friends pray for me to have the things I want. For example, I want to renovate this house. Like, that is my major thing. I want to renovate, not repair, restore. I want to renovate this house. And so now I have to pray that I renovate this house. And even say when instead of if. They say when you begin to renovate, blah, 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 blah. And that is their prayer, you know? So I believe it's both. But I just think that may have to do with maybe the age of relationship or understanding. Like I said, grandparents, I think grandparents, parents, aunts, uncles, older generation people pray what they want to pray for you. And not in a negative way. I don't mean that like that. I just mean they pray they want better for you. Whereas maybe those who are your comrades, your friends, your cousins, your same age, stuff like that, pray for the things you say you want. Like I say, I want to renovate, and that's what my friends' prayers are. But I believe they also pray other stuff. I think it's both. I think people do these things both. Like I pray for you all the time. So I pray that you are safe. I pray that your baby is safe with all these things that are going on. I pray for everybody's safety all the time. I pray that we all have peace. You know what I'm saying? I pray for Troy to find mental peace. So I believe though that I'm saying that to say that I believe both, because I don't know if this is what Troy prays for himself, but that's what I pray for him. I feel like you pray the same thing I pray for yourself and your baby, and more. So that's why I say it's both.
Yeah, no, I understand that. The reason I asked that question is because you never know what a person really wants, even when they tell you sometimes. You know what I mean? They may tell you what they think that you want to hear, or what's conventional, or what's acceptable. But, you know, how you kind of know what a person really wants by what they start to go for. You know, or unless you know them in a way where they may be more candid, more open, more honest, more transparent with you. But shoot, you know, you may want a whole lot of things. Like, okay, for a good part of my life, people have told me that I always get what I want. And for that same good part of my life, I've always told them, I was like, you have no idea what I want. Because if I ever got what I wanted, it would be some shit like you've never seen before. So, because I'm like, I have well-known desires and I have some secret desires. I have the way that I think, I have the way that things are supposed to be. I have the way that I would like things to be. And I have the way that the way things are. So I'm real careful about thinking that I know what somebody else wants, because you never really know. Unfortunately, I've had the bad experience of being friends with sexual assailants at a young age. Like my man's, here we are. I was 15 years old. He was 13 years old. And this boy was, he was going down the train station with nothing but a, butt naked with nothing but a trench coat on. Attacking, at 13 years old. Imagine I go around the corner looking for my man that I hang out with every day. This is my young boy. He was 2 years younger than me. I'm 15. He's 13. I hung with this boy every day. This was my man. I go around there one day and he ain't there. Matter of fact, I had to be 16. I want to say I was 16 because I was working. And this was after I was working for my dad. I think. No. You know what? We're going to keep it right there at 15, 16. But, I go around there like, yo, where my man at? And they was like, everybody was all hush, hush about it. I was like, what's going on? Where you at? You know, like what's, and his cousins are still around who didn't live around our way, but he's gone. So I'm like, later on it came out like, yeah, man, you know, he was in the paper. You know what I'm saying? You know, the cops came and picked him up because he was going around the train station, you know, after dark. You know what I mean? You know, his dad was a rapist before and all of this kind of shit. He ain't had no relationship with his pop. It was crazy. But I'm only saying that to say that you never know what somebody else has going on in their mind.
True.
You understand what I'm saying? This was my man.
Yeah.
This wasn't no casual, I see him when I see him. Oh, that's the boy. I know him through somebody. No, this was my man. He ain't never tell me or indicate in any kind of way. He was never disrespectful to any other girls that we running around like, yo, you like her? I like yo, cutie, her, blah, blah, blah. It was like that. He was never out of pocket. He was never on no bullshit. Never. He disappeared, had to go to juvie for a while. He was gone for over a year. Came back, acted like it wasn't what it was. And you know what I mean? And back then, since everybody was riding for him, they never gave up the real story. 3 years later, he's in high school. He's going to the local high school. He's going with a girl who lived on my street. That was his girl. Everything cool. We look in I don't know if back in the day, or maybe even still now, you know how you have the local city newspaper and then you have the neighborhood newspaper. Like we had this newspaper that they delivered called the Germantown Courier. And that was the local Germantown number. I'm newspaper that lets you know like little community events and things that were going on in the community. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out of high school. He's still in high school in the 11th grade. What do we see? Right in the Courier. Now he done made himself famous. He was back to doing the shit that he got arrested for back when he was 13. It wasn't out of his system. His girl would tell you he was never like that with me. He ain't even never disrespectful, never out of pocket. So cats can present themselves in a certain kind of way. You know what I mean? You don't know what a person wants. Evidently, he wanted to aggressively, get some pussy. Rape is all about control. It's not even about sex. It's about the control, the fear, the power. You know what I mean? So yeah. So from that situation, I learned like you don't know what's going up in a person's head. I was proud and embarrassed to say that I didn't know him that way. No, there was no indication that he would ever do anything like that. He didn't talk like that. You would think that somebody who was into something like that would indicate it some kind of way.
So 9 times out of 10, they don't.
Well, you look at men who like anal sex. They gonna let you know. Yeah, man, I fucked that bitch right in the ass. Yeah, I mean, they gonna let you know. So I'm thinking like, huh? You know what I mean? Like somewhere the bone would have fell out of the closet. So it would have separated itself from the skeleton. Nope, nothing.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank God he didn't while he was in your presence, because that could have went really bad.
None of our friends knew him like that. None of us. Mm-hmm. We all compared notes. Like, did he ever talk like? Nah, man. Nah. Oh, it wasn't like. It was crazy, crazy as hell. So now, was him getting arrested a couple of times? Was that an uncharacteristic blessing of his? I don't know. I can't speak on that. I'm still
maybe for the community.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just saying, maybe for the community it was.
Crazy. And the thing is, he went right around to the same spot where he got caught as a young boy.
So he just stupid. That's stupid.
He went where it was familiar.
God, well, predators are stupid, so they're said. He was a predator. That's what that was.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And when he served that time or whatever, I saw him as an adult. He had been to jail. It was, man, what a journey. I gotta stop there. You know what I mean?
Well, the sad part is for him to get like that, it's not like it makes you question what was going on behind closed doors in his life. You know, it may not be directly in his home, but it's in his life because he was a minor. What was going on in his world that caused him to be like that? Now, I'm not saying there are some who are not born like that. Yeah, unfortunately, there are some people who are born with whatever in their, they're missing a few important keys to their personality or moral compass that for whatever reason never connect. But in most cases, it's something that's happening behind closed doors that cause that kind of behavior. So that's the sad part.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Yo, sorry for the stream. You know, I don't even be knowing that the shit went out until it comes back on and be like, you are live. And I'm like, I didn't know that we weren't not live. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. So, but we good. But yeah, Kim, you know what I mean? You just never know what a person wants for themselves or how they look at the world if they don't tell you. And sometimes even when they do tell you, you may not really know. So yeah, we can pray for their safety. We can pray for their health. We can pray for their wealth. We can pray for their tranquility, their peace. But we have to also acknowledge that we are praying for them and wanting things for them from our own perspective. They may want something totally different.
That goes for.
Huh?
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, they might want something totally different than what we want. So just like when people say, you know, you always get what you want and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, I don't. I might be actually getting what you want for me or what you don't think I should have or don't think I deserve or whatever. So you think that I'm getting what I want. But one thing about me is once I get what I want, I stop asking for shit. So if I haven't stopped asking, trust me, there's a lot left in the tank. But that's neither here nor there.
I think that goes true for. Well, I was just gonna say I think that holds true for too. We, like with my mother, we pray. Well, I prayed for her to heal and get better and all of these things, only for her to leave on her own terms. And then later on, when I'm going through notebooks and stuff, my prayers were not what she wanted. She wanted to be done with the pain she was in because it was never going to end. There was nothing anymore a doctor could do to help her. And she just wanted it to be over. She did not want to go through any more treatment. She didn't want them to use her as a guinea pig anymore. She didn't want any more tinkering, cutting, anything. She just wanted to be free from the discomfort and pain she was in. So I think that holds true when it comes to when people are preparing to transition. And I don't think we even consider that because we say it's selfish of us because we want them to still be here. We want them to be okay because we love them. and it is our attachment to them that we don't want to release them. We don't want to let them go. And we're praying and we're looking at them as they're ill, as they're sick, and we're saying, I know you want to survive. I know you want to still be here. Fight, 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 fight. When maybe inside they're like, no, I don't want to fight anymore. I want to be relieved of this. And I love you, but I want to get away from here. I want to go. So there's that other side. So yeah, you know, the way you just explained all that made me think about it even more. Like, we can never pray for what the person really wants, because that's the example. My mother didn't want to continue in this space with all that was going on and the discomfort she was experiencing when I wanted her to fight. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm just ready to go. Yeah.
What did your mom die of, if you don't mind me asking? Cancer. Yeah. Well, yeah. You know, when you take that journey with somebody through cancer, you know what that's about. I don't even have to explain that. You know how painful that is on both sides, how emotionally painful it is for you, and how physically and emotionally probably, you know, painful it is for them. But the thing is, I wonder if, you know, because my dad expressed that he wanted to go. He was like, you know, this ain't it. You know, this, of course I didn't want him to feel that way. And everybody was trying to get him to look at things differently or whatever, but he had already made up his mind. My question is, at what point do they make up their mind? Because, excuse me, I know probably in the beginning stages of their illness, of course they want to get better. And that's probably why they're fighting and going through treatments and, you know, trying out things or whatever, because they're learning about their illness, and they're trying, you know, of course, who doesn't want to be healthy? But I wonder, at what point do you get to the demoralization part, or to the point where you no longer believe that getting better is a possibility?
I think my mother met that head on. I think she met it head on, because so we didn't get to journey with her through that. My mother, we never knew how much pain she was in, because she never showed it. She never let us see the pain she was in. She never let on that she was having. So, I mean, you could see it a little bit, but you didn't know for sure, because she never displayed it. She hid it very well. And she never said, oh, it hurt so bad. Every now you hear a grunt or something. You know, if it was something major happening, yeah. But other than that, she moved like nothing was wrong. So that's why the assumption was, you want to fight and be here.
Yeah.
But she was journaling her difficulties. And it was after, when we were able to see and read and understand day by day what she was really going through. So, you know, and I think she had already made the decision. She just didn't share it with us.
And that's totally possible. I still wonder, at what point does the you know, because we can only speak, even with you reading her memoirs and stuff like that, you also have to think about their mental and emotional state when they're the ones going through it. You know what I mean? Being sick for too long is like being broke for too long. You start losing faith that it's ever going to get better. You know what I mean? And both situations are debilitating, but one is obviously fixable, and the other one requires a lot of assistance. But yeah, it's with
no guarantees. With no guarantees.
Not at all. Not at all. I don't know. This terminally ill shit is the only thing in life that really concerns me or scares me about life. You know what I mean? I don't, you know, death is one thing.
I think illness itself is one that just, you don't even have to be terminally ill. You know, people have, like we were talking about at the beginning of this, well, when I first called in, we were talking about dealing with with allergies. There are people who have perished due to an attack from allergies because they could never get that breath. Mm-hmm. They could never get enough air in their lungs for them to heal or breathe or whatever term that goes with getting in that air you need so you can move on the next minute. Some have never made it to that, and some have perished in their sleep just because of an allergy attack, which sounds insane to me, but makes me scream inside and go into panic mode at the thought of it. That's why the first moment I can't get air, I am like, I gotta get up. I need to do a steam. I need to get my neti pot. I gotta do X, Y, Z because I need my air. And there are people who perish from that. So I just think every day we live, anything, not just terminal illness, but anything could be it.
So you like the neti pot?
No, I do not. Not at all. I absolutely hate it.
I ain't fucking with that neti pot. I'm good. Oh, it do? I don't know. I couldn't fuck with that. I was like, man, this shit, what is this shit? Damn neti pot. I didn't even like the name of it.
Pass out.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Okay.
I hate it. It stings so bad. But I don't use that. I don't believe in that mixed stuff they give you. I just use regular Redmond salt and regular water.
Okay.
Not tap water, but spring water.
Yeah.
And use that.
Okay. All right. I got you. All right. But yeah, it's just so hard to know what a person is going through. So when we talk about uncharacteristic blessings or whatever, what I might look at as a blessing, you might look at it like that's a straight curse. Like, but you haven't been through what I've been through. I haven't been through what you've been through. So there's really just a communication disconnect going on that neither one of us may be aware of. You know what I mean? But what we do know and what we may understand is that we both want different or better for ourselves individually or for each other. So I want to look at the results of the poll because I think they're interesting. Every time we do this poll thing, the dominant vote always raises my eyebrows. All right. So the question is, what would be an uncharacteristic blessing for you? Something that you are not used to getting. All right. So out of 24 votes, 46%, almost half, say a lot of money or a way to get it. Wow. And even though that surprises me every time I see it, it should never surprise me that so many people feel or think that as long as they get their money right, they can get everything else taken care of. Even if that's not what they're thinking. With so many people having financial problems, issues, challenges, shortcomings, it should never surprise me that, so many people are not making the kind of money or getting the kind of money that they really want. Okay, but the next one is true love, affection, and companionship. Now that's 25%. I really expected that to be higher because so many people struggle with that too. I've heard people say, I've seen people give up on love, whether you're talking about the word love, the concept love, or whatever comes along with either one of them. Okay, so the fourth one is the most surprising one to me because independence or a feeling of peace. For me, that trumps everything. Because how can any of those other things be absent and you have a feeling of independence or peace? But for this poll, only 4%. That equals up to one person. Wow. And 25% said good health. And and it's funny because I didn't elaborate on what good health meant. And you know,
peace is tied to good health.
Huh?
But peace is tied to good health. Peace is tied to every single thing there. You can't have any of those things without having peace.
And so, without me giving any details on what good health is, good health to me is a balance of good mental and emotional health and good physical health. For me, I don't see any way you can be physically fit and feel emotionally or mentally fucked up. That's not healthy. But a lot of people think that because you're not sick, you're healthy. And I'm like, come again? And they're like, yeah, if you're not sick, then you're healthy. I'm like, so even if you have health conditions that you feel like you're managing, you think that you're healthy because you're not sick. And they will tell you, yes. So I have to mentally put an asterisk by the good health part, because there's some people out here who will tell you that, you know, other than being batshit crazy, schizophrenic and all of that, they're otherwise healthy, 100% healthy person. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Let me ask you this. I don't know if you've ever had experience with anybody that was schizophrenic. Somebody who hears voices, who sees things in people who aren't there. And I love the way people, I don't want to diss today, but whenever I hear people say, well, they not crazy just because they see things that you can't see. They might be seeing spirits that you can't, that they can't relate to you, but they might know some things that you don't know. And I'm like, okay. Well, let's say that's true. What kind of healthy person that just sees spirits and images and things that we can't see because we're not blessed enough to see it? What kind of person, what makes them not take a bath? Because I've never known a schizophrenic person that had good hygiene. Is that healthy? Is it? So I don't see how people write off being totally fucked in the head, but because you got muscles or a fat ass that you're healthy. We were all taught in science in school, that all physical functions start with the brain, right? So if the brain is already messed up, how can you be healthy in any way? Yeah. So independence or a feeling of peace, only 4%. Amazing to me. But is it? Good health, 25%. All right. So there are more people who want money or would consider that to be an uncharacteristic blessing, because this doesn't tell you what people want. It just tells you what people aren't getting. And that's if they have fully understood the question and how to answer it. I always have to make sure that I qualify that, because maybe it's the way that I write things or say things. Everybody doesn't always understand what I'm trying to say or what's being said. Johnny West says schizophrenic like gremlins. They hate water and can't feed them after midnight. That's fucked up and true. And TK Wright says some people have learned to live with bad health, even though it says add health. I know she doesn't mean advertising health. But yeah, there are a lot of people who have learned to live with bad health. Way more people than we know about. You know how many people that you probably know who are dealing with daily pain? All kinds of aches and pains and shit.
You have a call from.
Look, I thought you just dipped off.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I don't know what happened.
I thought you was just soaking it in.
No, I was talking. I was like, you can't hear me.
We ain't hear
and
shit.
then I heard like something go. I heard something go. Doop, 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 doop. I was like, okay, I don't know what this is. I'm just gonna hang up.
Yeah, oh, the screen changed. I said, oh. Then I saw your comment in the chat. So I was like, oh, you know, maybe she said, look, let me get off this phone. Yeah, let me get off this phone, and I mean, you know, you might be multitasking. It was time to do a different task. Yeah, I said.
No. Some said, doop, 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 and I was like, I'm out. I don't know what's going on, but I'm out.
Hold on. Look. Hold on. We got a Johnny come lately in the last 4 minutes of the show.
You have a call.
Man, this is some bullshit. This is some bullshit. We started 45 minutes later, so we ain't going. We ain't going no overtime. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to come in and call because you're having a deep conversation, but I just thought I'd have these two intellectual people talk for a while. Highly intelligent people. And y'all was having an in terms, what you said about being selfish when a person is fighting to stay here, and we be selfish so they fight, begging them to come on, fight. I know you can do it. I say that about people. When everybody passes away, I tell people we can't be selfish about what they're going through because you don't know what they've been through. You don't know what they're going through. And I mean, I'm like, when I fell asleep, did she send her spirit over here to take my damn thoughts out of my head? That's the same. The way that you explained it is the same exact way I explained it. And I never knew that anybody thought the way I was thinking that, like on the same. It's like me stealing your joke or something. Like you took my thought and just did it somewhat verbatim, and I was like, damn, that's exactly how I think. We sit back and we're not humbled enough to just understand that the person that has cancer or autism or Alzheimer's or anything that happened, or they got shot or anything that happened to these people. We tell them, come on, fight. I know you come on, please fight. Not realizing they didn't fought a hard fight. And when God says it's time to come, it's time to come. When he come and get you, ain't no fight is done.
That's human nature. We can't. I don't think we can avoid it because when you love somebody, you don't want to let them go.
Yeah, I mean, that's deep how you explained that. Was deep because that's exactly how I explain it. You know, and I mean, we can't feel anybody's pain, but we can show empathy and sympathy to them. And it's amazing how, intelligent, great individuals like all three of us is think alike because we're very highly intelligent African American people. You know, and I know when films on video, that's why I be wanting you to curse sometimes because you're too fucking smart. Stop it.
Shut up.
You gotta put a curse in. But the thing about
I don't know how much you listen to on this, but I got some new stuff that's Gary come because I just got a new client. I'll be working with a immigration attorney, And now I have to learn a whole new customer.
Oh, yo. Hey, son, man, listen, bro. This is a deep topic right here you got, bro. You know.
So, what's your So what's a uncharacteristic blessing to you? Do you have an example of such?
I think what was the second one I chose.
Okay,
the second one
that was love. Yeah, that was love. Let me see, true love, affection, and companionship.
Now, is that the trait that I have, or is that the traits, uncharacteristic traits that I have?
No, that's we're talking about uncharacteristic blessings. So these are the things that may come to you that never have, or so rarely have, that you may have written them off as not going to happen, or won't, or rarely ever happening, or whatever.
Well, I'll go with the third one then, because I misinterpreted the third one, peace. I'll go with the third one. Yeah, because in order for you to, I quote you on the back end saying that, and that second one, I'm pretty sure at some point in time I will receive that, but the third one, you need peace, tranquility, and, you need to have somewhat of a clear mind in order for money. You can be a millionaire, a billionaire, you still be depressed and be down. No matter money can't take away what ails you. No money, not no TNA. None of that can take away what ails you.
Speak for yourself.
What'd you say?
I said, speak for yourself.
Hey, once you release, that problem's still in there.
I'm just kidding.
I know you are. But at the end of the day, uncharacteristic traits, that I have. That third one is the one that applies to me. It's just hopefully one day I'll receive that and have an understanding of, either understand to receive it, or because I already know how to give it. I just receiving it is hard. People, it gives me room for pause, because I don't know if there's any good people out there like that no more. Society became so vexed, fucked up.
You said you know how to give independence or a feeling of peace? Can that be given to somebody?
No, I'm talking about number two.
Oh, okay. I got you. But even with number two, you have to be able to feel it, because it's not a physical thing. You have to be able to feel it. So, all right. So even with, you take number two, true love, affection, and companionship, you could be in a position where you could have rejected that for so long because you didn't feel like the source that it was coming from was real. But it could have been real the whole time. You know what I mean?
What?
It's like somebody liking you, but you like somebody else. Like she in love with you, but you like her cousin. Yeah, hey, shit used to happen like that. You know what I mean? Like, you cool, but I'm trying to get with Cherie. So
still happens like that.
Huh? Yeah. Of course, it still happens like that. But when we was teenagers, that shit happened up close. Like, I don't see nobody cousin no more. They cousins was right there. When you was 14, 15, 16, they cousins was right there. So, but yeah, so it's the feeling. Like, my pop used to always say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. In other words, you may be getting...
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And it was a deep thing, but he was right. Because
the thing about it, like what you just said and said that, you know, everybody always don't understand when you sit back and you talk about a spirit or the person not being here anymore too. Not that I'm just going to elaborate on what y'all was talking about earlier. It takes me out because when you find yourself quoting your mother, your father, your grandmother, if people don't really have an understanding, at some point in time, that's part of their spirit that's within you, regurgitating that back out to other people and what you learned. You know what I'm saying? You know, cause so I mean, even though you feel like I always say, my mom hasn't came and visited me yet. She might have visited other people and everybody else, but she hasn't come and visit me. But I know her spirit was guiding me because at the end of the day, when I sit back and I quote some things that she's taught me, and I quote the way that she had me react to certain situations, you know, I sit back and be like, damn, she had. You know what I mean? So I mean, when you just sat up here and said, quoted your father, and when you quote parents and stuff, and you quote the loved ones that was deep in your life like that, they're still in you. They're within you, and their spirit is around you.
Well, you know, like what my dad was saying about when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. What he meant by that was in your younger years or before your ears are trained to understand what somebody is trying to say to you or what they're trying to give to you or convey to you, they're just words to you at that time. But later on, when you are ready to receive the words that were spoken to you or the gifts that were given to you, you'll remember the first time you ever heard it. You understand what I mean? Because the student is ready, the teacher has appeared. Now you know what to do with the knowledge that you have been given. Before then, it wasn't knowledge. It was just a bunch of, they just be saying shit to hear themselves talk and all of that. You didn't realize because you wasn't ready to go to school. You wasn't ready to be a student. But now the student is ready. So a lot of times when we start to do things that our parents did in a good way, we can call up, when they were trying to get it across to us, and we may wonder, why the fuck couldn't I understand this? And you may even rationalize that, well, if they would have put it in a different way, I would have understood back then. No, they wouldn't. You wasn't ready. You wasn't ready. You was into something else. You was into something else. Now you're ready to be into where you're supposed to be. The student is ready.
Well, my grandfather used to say something completely different. He said, when the student is not listening, his belt will appear.
Well,
and I took that in, and I learned that the hard way.
Well,
when the student is not listening, the belt would appear.
Well, one thing about the belt, it can only be but so long. You know what I'm saying? So as long as
did your dad ever have to beat you with a belt?
No, my dad never did that.
Oh shit! Yeah, you was a good. You like Biggie. You like the opposite of Biggie when he said, "Well, don't want to go to heaven with all the goody goodies." You was a goody goody.
No, I caught my pop at a good time. I caught him at a good.
You said you caught him at a good time.
I did.
He already beat a couple guys.
No, it wasn't that. But he was very impatient and violent in his younger years, with my mom and everything. But just like a bully chooses who they gonna bully, anybody else who employs bully tactics, they make a decision on who's going to get it and who ain't going to get it. My dad loved me and he believed in me. So I ain't never, he spanked me one time and it was a joke to the point where I was like, come on, man, just go ahead and get it over with. But it was the mental, my pop was a hypnotist. So he used it, you know what I mean? He used to just guilt trip me into all kinds of crazy shit. It was wild. He didn't have to whoop me. He was mentally fucking me up to the point where I was like, man, I ain't never fucking up again because I ain't going through this shit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm like, at least my mom just go ahead and whoop me and get it out the way. But I didn't. Neither one of my parents believed in raising a child that way. It was a form of punishment. So I can count the times I got my ass whooped on one hand, but I can also count on that one hand how many times I wanted to. So the fear was good enough to keep me grounded. And I got away with a lot of shit that I probably should have got my ass whooped for. But because I didn't get my ass whooped for it, I was thankful. But nah, everybody else I know who got their ass whooped, them motherfuckers went to jail and got into all kinds of crazy shit. So that shit don't stop nobody from doing nothing. Shit.
Let me tell you something, son. My grandfather beat my ass so bad that when he passed away, I thought his spirit was fucking me up if I done something wrong.
Yeah, well, it worked on you because you didn't want to get your ass whooped. Evidently, some people are like Spartans when it comes to an ass whooping.
Hey, I
never got it by any of my grandparents.
Yeah, I ain't never get my ass whooped by my grandparents either.
My mom was the inventor of I used to fake asthma attacks with my mom, so she really didn't know when I was going to have an asthma attack.
Troy!
I used to fake asthma attacks.
Didn't you say you fake asthma attacks at work too?
Oh shit. See what happens when see the internet never forgets, boy. The internet never fucking forgets, boy. The internet can kill him.
Son, when I was in college, right, and
a fucking asthma attack, boy.
Some of the guys that I was going out for initiation, right, and they had to catch us and tackle us, and then just throw a couple punches at us. I'm telling you, when they caught up with me, you know what kicked in? You crazy? Stop, y'all. Stop. Yeah, go get anybody got his pump. Go get his pump from out of his room, y'all.
What the hell is happening here? What is going on?
I'm done. I'm about to do these birthday shout outs. No, you don't fucking got to. Talk about you gotta do it. Like there's no other option.
you do some fucking Charlotte Clips. Let me do these birthday shout outs. Like I lied.
I ain't never heard nobody say, yo, you gotta fake an asthma attack sometime. This is new shit. Never in my life have I heard nobody
stop pull you over, get ready, get you a ticket, give you a ticket. Here's my license.
Troy is the black version of Doug from King of Queens when he faked heart attacks because he couldn't remember his wife's co-worker's name. That is Troy.
You fucking right. You gotta fake it. It'll save your life. And then you turn back around.
That sounds like
something. Here we are talking about struggling to breathe because of allergies. No. You're over here faking an asthma attack.
We out of here. This show is over. I'm going to do these birthday shout outs. I'm going to release you good people. I'm going to release you good people. You know what I mean? For the rest of y'all afternoon, y'all have a really, really good one. Love is love.
Can I make one comment before we go? This is just for everybody. Everybody, please, please, please stay safe. Please, please, please stay safe. As we are in this show, I am watching my ticker. Everybody stay in your house if you can. Just stay safe. Keep your baby safe. Keep your parents, your grandparents, everybody, please, please stay safe because this man is insane. He is very angry that these protests are taking place everywhere. It is a blanket of people in the streets across the country, and he is very pissed off. And there's no telling what he's going to do next. So everybody, please stay safe. That's it.
Works for me.
I'm just going to say this last thing.
No, you're not.
I just want to say, if I get deported, I want to be deported to the Dominican Republic.
All right. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man.
Peace. What in the... Man, what in God's heaven? What the hell? All right. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious June 14th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number one out the box. Joanne Coy, happy birthday to you. And Nicole Nikki Wilson, Shakira Brunson, Sheila Cheney, Viola Montgomery, Uniquely Intuned, Monique Lowry, Lonnie D. Nelson, Elaine DeShields, Amber S. Hawkins, and my girl going all the way back to the 1991, Tara F. Simmons. Penn State stand up all day. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious June 14th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, man, listen, unexpected blessings, unscheduled blessings, uncharacteristic blessings. You just don't know when and where you will be blessed or where you may find some good fortune or when good luck may befall you or whatever. Hopefully you are ready when the time comes and you are deserving at the same time. But regardless, things are going to go the way that they're supposed to go, and they're going to go in the direction that they're supposed to go when it's time for them to go in that direction. So stay diligent, stay safe, keep your head on a swivel. I want to thank all of y'all for coming through on the show. I want to thank all of y'all for preparing yourselves on a daily basis, getting y'all shit together. And I want to say that we will see y'all tomorrow. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. See y'all tomorrow. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. 1:30 tomorrow. We can do it on time tomorrow. Promise. Won't be like today. But like Kim said, stay safe out there, man. Be good. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, holla back.